let's do some more practice with trying to find optimal choice between two goods. So real quick, you can use the ratio of prices and the margin utility to find your optimal choice, but it's really, the reason this one works is because you're looking at the margin utility, dividing those, so that's your marginal benefit, and then you're looking at the ratio of prices, and that's your marginal cost. So again, that shows your optimal choice where they're equal. You can do that one, but it's easier if you look at the margin utility divided by price and try to match those up. Now, if you were to look at the different bundles and you were to notice that one side is greater than the other, then you would consume more of that good. Think about it. The X side in this case is giving you more happiness per dollar. So it just makes sense to buy more of that good. It's making you happier than the Y side. So consume more of that. If it were the other way around, well, guess what? The Y side is making you happier, so you would consume more of good Y. We can see this back on our chart here. So as you can see, let's pick a random number of this many t-shirts and movies, and then we'll say 4 for each one. So here we have 1.29 for the t-shirts and 1.86 for the movies. If you were to suggest to this person what should they do, which side is making them happier? It's 1.29 and 1.86. So you said that the movie side is giving them more bang per buck, more margin utility per dollar. So you would consume more movies. The movie side is making you happier, so consume more movies. All right, and so you would keep on consuming until eventually you got down to where they're equal, right? Now the other way you can do it is you can go backwards. So this right here and this right here, the movie side is making you happier, the t-shirt side is making you less happy. So if anything, you would consume less t-shirts, and eventually they could equal, but not in this case. So, but going back to what we were just saying here, whichever side is making you happier, consume more of that good, or consume less of the other one. That is the suggestion here in order to maximize utility to where they are equal. So let's do a little practice here. All right, we're going to look at the numbers to the right, and then what should we do? So here you have your margin utility 100, price is 10, margin utility 200, price is 5. If you were to actually do the calculation here, you would find out that this is 10 on this side and 40 on this side. So 40 is greater than 10, so what should you do? You should consume more of good too. That's what you really should do here. It's making you happier. Now, why does consuming more of a good eventually going to get them equal? It's because of the law of diminishing marginal utility, right? So here, to get these equal, we need this side to go down, right? If you want to decrease this side, how do you do it? Diminishing margin utility. The more you consume, the margin utility is lower. So we have 40 here. We need to decrease it, so we need to consume more of good too. And by doing that, the margin utility will decrease all the way down to 10. Or if you want to increase the number, so like you want to increase to where they're equal, if you want to increase the margin utility, you have to buy less. By buying less, the margin utility will actually increase. It goes the opposite way. So basically, this is how this works here. You want to buy more of this one to decrease that, or you want to buy less to increase that. And by doing this, by this one being greater, that one being less, consume more, consume less, and then eventually they will be equal, and then you'll end up at your optimal choice. All right. So we can do this over here. If I were to give you some more random numbers, for example, let's say the margin utility from consuming soda was 50 and the price of the soda was $2. The margin utility from a ham sandwich was $2.50 and the price was 10. If you were to figure out should you buy more soda or more ham sandwiches, you would use your numbers here and match them up like this. You have soda on one side and ham on the other. If you did this calculation, you would end up with 25 and 25. So therefore, we would be equal here. Okay. If the price of the ham sandwiches were to be different, let's say 20, you did the same numbers. You would do 25, but this side would now be 12.5. So by doing this, you would see that the soda side is making you happier, so you would consume more soda. And by consuming more soda, this side's going to decrease, or you can consume less ham sandwiches, and this side would increase to where eventually, instead of the soda side being greater, eventually they will be equal. All right. So whichever side's making you happier, consume more of that good. All right. If you do not have all the information, then you can just use cross multiplication to figure out the missing piece. We are assuming that the consumer is maximizing utility. So let's do these numbers here. So again, we have 50 and 2, but then we don't know the margin utility from sandwiches, but we do know the price is 15. So the question is, what is the margin utility from the sandwiches? So we will use cross multiplication. So by doing that, you'll do 2 times x equals 50 times 15. Doing this in your calculator, you end up with 2 times x equals 750. To get x by itself, you're just going to divide by 2. You're doing the opposite of what's happening. So then x equals 375. So if you do not have something, you can use cross multiplication to figure it out. All right. So the next thing we'll talk about is how income and prices change your budget constraint.